speak. And Rena, um, and Phelan is en route, and hopefully you're seeing this in everywhere. And if you're joining us, know that we're going to talk about websites, search, and social. And this is our monthly update on all things marketing, and a lot has been going on. Rena, I'm going to let you kick it off. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so I guess the biggest news that happened, of course, is Facebook or Meta, whatever you're calling it these days, turned off thousands of ads the other week, and lots of people didn't notice. So if you are running Facebook ads, you might want to check, and you haven't checked them for a little while, which is not the best idea. But it does happen sometimes. If that's you, then go check your ads, make sure they're still running. So that is the big news. And then we have a couple other pieces here where I'm really excited. Pinterest has organized a public API, which means that there's going to be some better integrations with being able to sell through Twitter and also be able to put Twitter in different spaces, which I think will be really fun for developers um, and business owners.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then and no surprise, TikTok's ad revenue is set to double this year. That's pretty exciting. I think that reflects some interesting things about TikTok. Like, they keep growing. I believe that somebody put out a little video on TikTok, so I haven't fact checked it, but they said that 50% of the people are now over the age of 30 on TikTok. So I think that things are really changing over there. And if you still haven't checked it out, then that might be something that you might want to do in the next little while. See what the
So
potential
you're
and
saying
all that.
TikTok is lame now? What? So you're
Sorry?
saying TikTok is lame now?
No, not yet. Not yet. That's not what I'm
Everyone's
saying.
over 30. The party's over.
Well, I don't know. I don't go to social media places to find kids, but there's lots of people to find in your own target market, your own demographic, your own whatever it is that you like. So I never really come across the young people's videos anymore.
Yeah, I don't do
Like I
the
did
dancing.
when I first started. Yeah, it's usually people, late millennials and on up. And I actually enjoy following a lot of the older TikTok creators. There's a couple of women on there in particular that I think are really rocking it in their 70s, like, which is super fun to see.
There's a Gen Xer I follow, and she just speaks my language.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Rena,
So, uh,
I didn't introduce
yeah,
anybody. So
that's right.
where do you work?
I work at Little Works Indie Media. It's a digital marketing agency in Vancouver.
And Greg, where do you work?
I work at Original 72 Creative, and we're also a digital marketing firm in Vancouver.
And both of you,
We're
both
friendly firms.
you were friend. Well,
We're a
marketing's a
family
group
firm.
effort.
Friendly firm.
Marketing's a group. So there's a lot going on in social. That outage, the huge outage issues, kind of like Google had a lot of issues too last week. Like I couldn't actually
Yeah.
get into a couple Google Ads accounts. Like I couldn't work, so
All
that was
right.
weird. But
It is weird.
yeah, Greg, you got any like what do you do again, Greg? Website news?
I must. What do you do again, Greg? How long have we been doing this, Pip? Come on.
Right?
Well, that was really
I
fun for the
do.
audience.
Obviously I wasn't on the prep meeting because I was in my webinar, but there were a couple things that I was going to mention this week. First off is the beta 2 release of WordPress 6.0 came out the other day. So I've been playing around with that, seeing what's new, seeing what's different, seeing if it's stable, things like that. Nothing really to report. I need to dive into it a little bit deeper, but that's kind of interesting. 6.0 will be coming soon.
Does that mean we're gonna get a lot of cool new stuff?
There's a couple of things coming, enhancements more than new features. But one that I'm finding I don't know if it's going to be in this next one, but do you know the concept of oh crap, what's it called? Um,
I know many.
it just slipped my mind.
You,
Anyway,
that's
patterns. Sorry, patterns. Do you know the concept of patterns in WordPress that were introduced, where you could? So the block editor, you have a section where you can throw in your own block and put your own content in, or you can click the patterns tab and see and go through patterns that are in a pattern library. And a pattern is like a hero section or a pricing table, layout, or a gallery or testimonial layout. So there's all these patterns that you can choose to insert into your content, and it gives you all of that layout. Then you just use that layout and fill in your information. And I did hear that patterns were going to be expanded so that people could actually insert or set up their own patterns and submit it to the pattern library. So, like, if I wanted to create a couple of patterns and I was like, oh, these are cool, I think people would, benefit from these, I could submit them to the pattern library, and then anybody else working on a WordPress site could, potentially see that pattern and insert it and use what I created, the style that I created. So that's kind of cool.
That is cool. Now, is that using the Gutenberg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's using the native block builder for WordPress now.
That's kind of fun and exciting. There's so many, this is the time of year, I think, where marketing starts to get more interesting, because Facebook's got its yearly thing, and Google's got its yearly thing, and all the changes are starting to come in. I'm seeing the ramp up a little bit, right?
Yeah. And when Pip says things, she means conferences.
Yeah. Sorry.
Things equals conferences.
Yeah.
Things is
So
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
other than WordPress stuff, there was something else that I came across in an article. Do you guys know web.com?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, web.com owns like register.com and Network Solutions and a bunch of other pretty large entities for the internet. They just announced that they have a new e-commerce offering that is targeted to people who have no experience, or like it's very drag and drop and like click this, click that, and it's set up. But they have a new e-commerce solution for people who don't need the skills and just want to set up a store. So I haven't really dived into that either, but that's something that was just announced a couple days ago. And lastly, there was another WordPress thing. In a recent WordPress release, there was the WebP was going to be available natively in WordPress. It was never before. Like, you couldn't just upload a WebP image and use it, but now you can. Well, WordPress had announced that in an upcoming release, WebP was going to be turned on by default, which would mean that any image that you uploaded, it would create a WebP version to serve as well. And there was a big uproar because obviously so the implication of what could happen is people who have quite large sites and had images for years and years will all of a sudden get the new release. And if this is turned on by default, the system would create another image that would be stored on their system for every image that they have. So they've rolled back their announcement that it would be turned on by default because of that. But it will be coming, the ability for the system to create WebP versions of the images that you are uploading if you want it.
Interesting. WebP, eventually they're going to take over, and they're so light. right? So that's a good SEO thing, kind of. Who really likes automatic things that are turned on? Nobody. Nobody. So it's good they turned that
I
on.
don't know, depends what it is. Some things are great, but I mean something like that, which like if it all of a sudden duplicates, creates another image for every image that you have on there, and you have a hosting package that has only a certain amount of space, you could have an issue with it automatically just creating
Yeah.
all of these additional images. Even though they are smaller images, you're duplicating every one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be a personal choice. It really should. It really should. Mona's here. So hi Mona. I love that she says gang every time. It's so good. If Phelan was here, he would say, and we don't know where he is, he seems to be struggling with his computer. Never a good sign, considering that's how we make money. But he would say Shopify's going to be doing or they just started talking, they're in talks to buy some company which they're going to do fulfillment. Oh,
Right.
speak of the devil. Yay.
Ta-da.
Ah.
I love automated.
Welcome to the party there, buddy.
Yeah. So Phelan, I guess introduce yourself. The late comer.
Hi, I'm Phelan. Yeah, this is totally awesome. This is exactly how I wanted this to go. This is perfect.
I have to say I like this screen of 4 better because I don't feel like I have to fit in this like tiny.
Yeah, totally.
Like it's wide open, and I'm like,
Yeah, when you wave, the wave actually shows up.
right.
You have to do it like this.
Phelan, maybe you can say this better for me, but I was talking about Shopify and fulfillment.
Yes, so it was announced yesterday by Bloomberg that they were in talks to purchase a company called Deliverr. It has 2 R's, and they are a fulfillment company. So it's definitely because Shopify's been playing with doing some warehousing and getting into the fulfillment game, and so this is another step. And it makes sense for their business as they're trying to compete more and more with Amazon, and the fulfillment is definitely a big component of that. That makes sense.
I wonder how it'll go because Shopify lost a lot of money in the last quarter, right?
It did.
They lost a lot of stock value. That's not necessarily losing money because it's not. That's more a reflection on how rich people feel about the company, not so much about how much money they actually make.
Oh, I'm kind of feeling cool. You called me rich because I'm worried about that. There are some things that happen in SEO that are pretty like big. And but first, Google Ads, everybody needs to know and remember that we are only a month and a bit away from having to change all our ads to RSA ads. RSA ads are responsive search ads. So if you haven't thought about that, or you know somebody running Google Ads, now is the time, right? Google is changing things on the rapid. So usually after their I/O, which is their conference that you can go to live, there's actually there's the advertising one, which is all day on the 24th of May. So if anybody wants to go, I'm going to share the link down there. After,
yeah, I just got the invite for that too to register. I haven't yet.
It's I'm busy that day and it's like an all day thing. So I'll probably catch the parts that are valuable to me and watch what I can at 9 a.m. Starts at 9 a.m. So
yeah, it's always on replay, and usually it's there's a lot of cut up into bits, so you can just watch the ones that you're actually interested in.
Yeah, I never watched the phone stuff because.
Oh, I watch the phone stuff.
Oh yeah. Do you love the phone stuff? Oh, that's funny.
Well, because I'm a big Android geek, so yeah.
Speaking of another Android geek down there in the corner, he loves it. He's like, yeah, you don't have Discover. I'm like, whatever. So, I'm really excited because it's kind of like a dreamer conference. Like they show you the things that they're working on now that are probably going to be somewhere in the future, like the 3D shark on your, table that you can turn around. AI or VR, right?
AR. You mean AR? Augmented reality.
Right? Yes. In VR. Is that right? I don't know. Anyway.
We'll just say DR, different reality.
Yeah.
Encompasses all of it.
I like that. So, other news besides that, Google's constantly changing their Google Ads interface. We keep seeing changes and new versions coming up. And what else? Ooh, there's a huge breakthrough in SEO. A new algorithm that either they're going to implement or they just had the breakthrough called Palm. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I noticed yesterday, and tell me if this is happening for you. You know, when you get the automatic search results, like I'm getting automatic. So when they give you like options, because that's kind of how you do keyword research sometimes, and I'm seeing like the longest strings of text now. Like we're talking 80 characters or more. I think Google. I put the search that I found, like, and it's, I guess, a constant question people are asking in Google. But so searches are getting more concise. That's what I'm starting to see. So those are, I think, and it's called Palm, PALM. More on that to come. And then Phelan found something really cool about YouTube.
Yeah, so we were experimenting with it yesterday, but it looks like some accounts, if you've got content in your studio, you can actually, there's a research tab if you go to your analytics. And what this is supposed to be, in theory, or at least that's how they describe it, is that it will give you insight as to gaps in your content, suggestions for topics. They can do, your audience, like based on who your audience is, it's supposed to be able to, like, hey, they've watched videos like this that kind of sound like your channel, you should make videos like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works and what the suggestions are. Not every account has it right now. Like we went to a couple of them, and
we have one of them, we have the button, but we have no information. The other one, we don't even have the option. So
he has information, but nothing to. They haven't rolled it out to him yet. So it's just like the one we wanted to have the research tab for, we didn't get it
yet. It's not
yet. Yeah.
But I mean, that's super interesting that we're going to be able to see search terms inside YouTube. I mean, YouTube's a huge resource for the how-tos and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't learn stuff on YouTube?
It's a big tutorial.
Yes. I mean, you learn quick hacks on TikTok and you learn in-depth stuff on YouTube. I think, do you think TikTok could cross that line? You know how they have 10-minute videos now? Could they actually be something like YouTube? Is that their aim?
They could. I don't know why all of them try to be like each other. Honestly, I hate the 10-minute videos on TikTok. It's just like when I'm on TikTok, I want light scrolling, boom, boom, boom. And that what's the word? It interferes with the way that I like to interact. I never watch them. If they run longer than 3 minutes, I'm already scrolling.
Yeah, I mean.
So tell me, like, maybe people out in the audience like the long videos. Let us know in the comments.
Somebody said, "Oh, cool! New research tab on YouTube." Oh, just so you know, if you're out there and you're watching us and you're not in our Facebook group, we are actually streaming live inside the Facebook group Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. Long name, amazing people, all about marketing. You should join us. Oh yeah, scrolling and entertainment on TikTok. Yes.
Yeah.
Going off of TikTok, it just got cut down.
It's true. It's like TikTok. What TikTok did was it actually trained me to look for certain kinds of it trained me to use it in a certain way, and now it's disruptive. The 10-minute ones are disruptive. And it's true. When I want to learn something, I want to actually search it. And I want to search it on YouTube and figure it out.
I haven't tried TikTok search function. Facebook's
not very good.
Yeah, Facebook sucks. Google's is great. I mean, that's why we all go over there, right?
I don't like the search function on TikTok because it's mostly done by hashtags. And if you don't have the right hashtag, or if your hashtag doesn't eliminate, like you can't eliminate certain parts of the search like you can in other kinds of search. So it's like, I'd like to give you a good example, but I don't have one offhand. But But sometimes you end up with a whole lot of garbage that you're not looking for in your search results because you can't eliminate. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll fix that in the future. Phelan, you're going to say something about TikTok, no? Yes? No?
Yes, I was. There was announced today for anyone doing TikTok ads that they now are doing interactive add-ons to go with your ads. So
Oh,
there's so it means like you have the video and maybe there's like a button and that like they can press that button, or it could be like a poll or something like that. And so you
oh,
can
interacting with the
there's something.
audience. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
actually
So they're making that.
go back to somebody. Have you seen that option? You can actually respond to somebody's comment with a video.
Yes, yes,
Oh
that's
yeah. They start. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that was a month
And
ago
what I
or
figured out
something.
the other day to this morning is that you can actually respond to a comment on somebody else's video. It's not just on your videos that you can respond to comments.
Oh.
So what happened is one woman did a video, she got a shitty comment about it, and then some big time influencer took that comment and made a video out of it, telling them to apologize to the first person. It was very dramatic. So, but
What do
I
you
thought
mean?
that
They
was really interesting.
took
I've
like
seen
a
that.
screenshot of the comment and then did a video and put it,
No,
because
you
I've
don't
seen
need to
that
take
on
this.
TikTok where like people do videos responding to things, but they just
That's
like
right.
took an image of whatever the comment
That's right.
was and
That's
then
right. But it's
addresses
not a
it.
screen. It's not a screenshot. You just have to
Oh no.
actually put respond video response. Yeah,
Ah.
there's a yeah. So, but I was assumed, and it's mostly used by people addressing comments on their videos, not on other people's videos. So it was a really interesting crossover there. It did a little ooh, what's this for me?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure all of these have settings that, can either
Yes,
allow or not
yes,
allow people
yes,
to do videos on comments on your post
Interesting.
or something.
Well,
yes.
here's an interesting thing a user saying is that getting a business account on TikTok is way harder and prohibits you from using a lot of trending sounds. Yeah, I think there's
Yes, I saw
maybe it's
that.
like Instagram is like Instagram where you have a personal account for so long and then you get 10,000 followers and you turn it to a business account. I think that's what a lot of people do once they get a certain number of followers because then more options open up, right?
Yes, more options and some options are removed. So that's I think that's what
Yeah,
this person
trending
is referring
sounds.
to. Yes, because it's actually to do with copyright and commercial use of music. So the sounds, if you're using it for personal, it's if you're using the sounds for personal, there's no commercial gain. So there's the copyright is fine. If your commercial account and you're using sounds to promote yourself, then there's the copyright issue is
Mm.
comes into it. So that's why sounds aren't available to business accounts.
And they say you have to have you have to go through a business
Yeah.
registration process.
Yeah.
Is that arduous?
Well, it sounds like it. I haven't done it myself, but it sounds like it.
Oh, I'll have to ask. One of our clients is a TikTok. They're a real estate agent. I think it's very interesting because there's this thing that's happening now because you have reels, you have stories, so reels, Instagram, stories, Facebook, shorts, YouTube, which fit into the TikTok, and you can actually upload those to Google My Business as a post, and bam, you just Bob's your uncle, and you're sharing all your content everywhere, except for Twitter.
Yes. 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 And I think that there are now some apps that allow you to download the TikTok videos without the branding. So a lot of people are using that. And then a lot of people work in the opposite direction. They'll create the video and then they'll put it out everywhere rather than creating it on one of the platforms and then trying to download it or share it from there. So, yeah. So I think that that's because you'll see the TikTok branding on all the Instagram. I wonder how many people are actually doing lives on Instagram anymore because there's so many TikTok logos.
Interesting, because I'm sure it doesn't get indexed as, if they can spot the logo, if the algorithm can identify that there's a logo in it.
I
Um,
think they can. Didn't we talk about that a few months ago that
yeah,
it can and it does affect the not only the indexing but the algorithm for sure.
yeah. it's so interesting, all the changes that are going on and what we're seeing. Phelan, there's something in our research here that says Google introduces retail search for e-commerce. That was earlier in the month. We've actually started like keeping the articles we've read, because throughout the whole month there's so much that changes, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, there's one other thing that is Pinterest and WooCommerce are partnering together as well. So if you've got any WooCommerce that getting onto Pinterest, and I know that Pinterest has made a concerted effort to reach out to e-commerce platforms, and so that's definitely one that is look out for if you've got a store
Rena, do you
that.
go to Pinterest?
I love Pinterest. Yeah, I love Pinterest, but I use it quite a bit differently. Like, so for example, I use it to create mood boards for my clients before we do design work for branding and things like that, or before we get into figuring out what our campaign looks like. I love using it for mood boards, and I think people like looking at mood boards. Apparently,
Mhm.
So is that mood board to, what if you're in a bad mood?
well, that's not the
Not
mood that
that,
you're
not
trying
that kind of mood board.
to. We're not interested in your feelings.
Okay, okay. I was wondering. I thought, I thought it was about feelings,
Well,
mood,
you
feeling.
could create mood boards according to your feelings, but I'm not sure what that says about your branding. So,
So mood board
basi-
according to your branding and what
yeah,
you want.
yes,
to-
yes. So
I
we'll
get it.
name. I think it's really nice for agencies to work this way because if you make them public, it's kind of interesting to show that you
Process.
can work with many different brand moods and keep them very separate and organized in that way, like and show you the breadth of your work rather than some designers, if you work with designers a lot, you'll know that, like, I've got designers that if I have a certain kind of look, I'll go to one particular designer. If I have another kind of look that I'm looking for, I'll go to another particular designer because they're sort of like that's their. It's almost like painters. They all have a palette. They all have
Their jam.
people. Yeah, people tend to be very comfortable with certain kinds of visual languages. Basically, is what it is, and putting out your mood boards to show that you can accommodate many different kinds of visual languages and um, branding.
I actually like that, because I truly believe the best type of marketing is marketing showing the process. It's so when you, for example, like a designer, house designer, right? If you're just showing your designs versus showing the start to the end, way more
Yeah,
engaging, right?
totally. Yeah.
um the so we got the, I see that reels I upload on
Yes.
TikTok get way less views. Oh, so it's
Yes. It
vice
goes in
versa.
both directions. Absolutely. So this is why I think that it's really best to do your videos on your phone, and then upload them or do them in the app natively rather than trying to cross over too much. So you can definitely share. I don't like sharing between Instagram and TikTok, but I'll definitely share, between Instagram and Facebook, for example, if we're talking about stories or something like that, or
Yeah,
reels. Sorry, those little things. But the other one that I have no problem with is I don't think there's an algorithm at all on Google My Business, so you can just put up whatever there. It doesn't,
well, you can't have too much text in the image, and they say
yeah,
so. There's some weird things when you upload video there. You have to be particular. They say not longer than 60 seconds, but that actually applies to adding video to your image section. And so been able to upload a video that's 3 minutes and something. But if you add the call button, you can get your video rejected. So
oh,
they're
I see.
they're very hyper, and sometimes they'll get your video rejected for the text in the description. And so
Oh,
like I've
I
had to
haven't had
delete.
anything come back for me.
Oh
That's
yeah.
I didn't even know they had any of this. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, we do a lot of real estate agent stuff, so that's come up, and maybe that's because of housing. We actually had an image rejected because of too much text. We think they don't really tell you.
I've
Yeah, they're
never we
very
put up
cagey
tons of,
about.
like, the one of my biggest clients that I work on with Google My Business is also a real estate client, and we have the whole branded imagery stuff, and I've never had anything rejected that I know about. That's interesting. I'm going to look at that.
Well, it's
But yes, so the bottom line is that you want to go as native as possible because like creating, and when I say native, I mean you're creating the video or the artwork or whatever in the space that you're actually posting it to, because everybody wants people on their platform. So they rig the game so that if you're just simply sharing across everything, they're going to put in whatever kind of gatekeeping that they can do, they will do to make sure that you're actually active and engaged on that platform.
This gives me the opportunity to do a slight plug, just so you know. We use something called Descript. Yes, I have an affiliate link. If you want it, you can have it. But that doesn't matter. You can get a free account. And we are now editing video in there and then sharing them to different platforms. So like they're native-ish in that they're built somewhere else and then they're shared out accordingly. And that seems to be working well for us. Do you guys remember when, like, 3 years ago or something, they said 2022, 2023, it'll be 80% video, our content? And look is what's happening. I mean, if you're not getting into video or doing video, you might actually be hurting yourself at this point.
So we've gone a little bit over, and I got to run. So are we going to wrap up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Notice the
Time to go.
somewhere.
We got to go teach. We will next week. I think it's Greg and I meeting. We're talking about keyword research. Woohoo! And so join us next week, Thursday, 11 a.m. inside Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer or on one of our channels. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.